Hello, hello, beautiful Maddie, and welcome back, everyone, to the Golden Hive Transmissions from the Hive podcast. Today, we will be talking about sound and resonance and sacred coherence and the hum of the hive and the bees and sound and how it is all related and interconnected. And we are super excited to have the beautiful, amazing Maddie Bee from Maddie Bee Energy here with us today. Welcome, Maddie. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh my goodness. So, I recently completed a certification in holographic sound healing with the beautiful Maddie, and I traveled down to Texas for that, and it was such an amazing transformational experience in so many ways. I was, of course, divinely called to go, and it was like everything within me said yes, and it all just synchronistically lined up so perfectly and easefully that I just knew that it was divinely aligned, right? And meant to be. And it was I just feel so grateful to have been able to have that experience. And so thank you. Thank you so much for that and for the opportunity. It was so beautiful to be in that space together to explore sound in such a unique way. Holographic sound healing. I can't wait for you to share so much more about that. But it really, truly opened up a deeper awareness for me around vibration and sound and the power of that. And, naturally for me, I began to feel like that connection with the bees and how that all, weaves together. And I got really excited and I was like, oh, I gotta talk to Maddie about all of this. So this is likely going to be one of hopefully many conversations because I feel like there's so much that we can cover and connect and share around all of this. And so we will just kind of dive right in if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Maddie is obviously well, she first of all, she's a Golden Hive member. Yay. She's a beautiful soul sister. The minute I saw her and her beautiful smile and aura and energy, I was just like, yep, I remember. So, solar sun codes, bee codes, master energy healer, sound healer. I mean, so many beautiful things. And such just a kind, genuine, loving soul. Seriously. So I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I would absolutely love for you to share more about who you be in this
Yeah.
world right now.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sabrina. Thank you for having me. Thank you for creating the space for these transmissions to come through because it's so fun to get to see what the collective needs. So I'm excited to find out too what we're going to dive into today. Hello, everyone. My name is Maddie Brennan, and as Sabrina mentioned, I'm the founder of Maddie Bee Energy. And it is my role here to support people in remembering who they are and who they are beyond the noise and the disconnection that this modern world can kind of leave us with. And the main ways that I do that are through energy and through sound. So, as Sabrina also mentioned, I teach holographic sound healing. I met my teacher, Dr. Paul Hubbard, in 2022, and immediately we started working together. I got my first crystal singing bowl, took the training, and it was kind of off to the races from there. So, I'm really passionate about holographic sound healing because it is really unique. So it's the combination of sacred geometry with sound. And so we're tapping into this larger field, this multidimensional field, and who we are within it. And so we have many layers to this body and to this being. And the earth has many layers to her body and her being, and the universe has many layers to the bodies and beings. So when we see ourselves as separate from, we're disconnected from this larger reality, this larger harmony that's actually taking place. And a lot of times when we feel disconnected from self or from source or from the earth, it's because there's something going on internally. And so energy and sound healing can help us figure out where those misalignments are, maybe where things are stuck or not moving or flowing, and really open us up so that we can be this channel of light, this channel of love, of source, of intention, of sound. And so it's really exciting for me to be in the realm that I'm in. I play with sound and energy in lots of different ways, facilitating lots of really cool experiences, which we'll get into more as we go. But it is truly a gift and an honor to get to do what I do and share what I do and to get to talk about it today. So thank you for being here, for tuning in. And Sabrina, thank you again. I am thrilled to be here.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh, the sacred geometry stuff. I get really excited about that. As a matter of fact, I just ordered a book that is all about like symbols and sacred geometry and the meaning of that. And I understand that when you meditate with some of these symbols, right, and you sit with them, and even just gazing at them, they can have such a powerful effect. And I think sometimes, at least for me, I forget about those things, right? Because we have so much stimulation going on at all times
Yeah.
that sometimes we just see it and we just don't even think twice about it, right? Like
Mhm.
signs and symbols. But when you really become more consciously aware and you do stop to notice a little bit more deeply, that's when we get to receive the deeper meanings, right? And the
Mhm.
deeper messages, and then get to recognize what that is serving, how that is serving us, right? Like, why is that appearing for me? Because everything I really truly do believe happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it's interesting because how the hive and the sound healing, right, bring us back into coherence. And even before we hit record, we were discussing about how sound truly reconfigures the waters within the body, right? So I
Mhm.
would love to talk more about that, and yeah, how that brings us back into harmony and just harmonic resonance in general. But I would also love to go a little bit more deeply into what does holographic sound healing mean to you? Like, how is it different than regular sound healing
Mm.
that somebody might offer, or other
Yeah.
types?
Yes. So I'll start with what holographic sound healing means for me.
Okay.
So when I signed up for the training, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't really look at the website. I just got this yes, that this was
Nice.
for me. And then when I got to the class, I think Dr. Paul said something to the effect of like, we're not even using the bowls until the last day. This is going to be about using your voice. And I was like, wait, what? Because before, like as a kid, all the way up until I was 18 when I left the Catholic Church, I was really singing. That was something I was so passionate about doing. I loved doing. But then when I
Oh,
left the church, I
beautiful.
left my voice with it. And so this was
Oh,
sort of like this divine re-invitation to my voice. And what I learned in that training is that my voice is a healing instrument. It's actually the most healing instrument that exists for my body, and that I can also support other people's bodies with my voice.
yes.
And so, what I love is that we're bringing in this technology of sound, of this multidimensional sound, this and multidimensional meaning like going beyond linear time and linear space. So we're not limited to being in person and like having this experience right here. And we're not even limited to like this moment. Like we can heal the past, we can heal the future, we can harmonize all of these things using our voice, using intention, tapping into this living field of information. And I think that was so powerful for me because I'd been to sound baths before that, and it wasn't like singing with it. It was like people using bowls or other instruments, which is still amazing, still profound, so great.
Yeah.
I'm like bawling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I'm experiencing Dr. Paul, and he's bringing in his voice, and my body is responding to the sounds that he's making. And they're sounds that people aren't making. Like at one point, he
Yeah.
was channeling dolphins and whales. I had to open my eyes and see if it was recording or this man up at the front of the room. And it was the man in the front of the room. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna
So
like
real. Yeah.
put a post-it on that and come back to it and go back to the meditation. So it really does open up this whole world. And I think what's so exciting for me is that our uniqueness is expressed through our unique voice. Like our voice is like a fingerprint. Like actually, it cannot be imitated or copied. It is so exquisitely unique to us. And so when we think about that, that my voice is medicine, how might that change how we show up in the world? Like what we're saying, what we're doing, the sounds that we're letting ourselves make, whether that's in the privacy of our own homes, like just with ourselves, or like in the world, how we're showing up in the world. And
Powerful.
with that, so we are energetic beings. And so this opened my whole consciousness up to what sound is doing to the body and our body being so much like water, right? So maybe you've seen a video, there's some really cool videos where people will have a sound bowl and they'll fill it with water and they'll like hit it. And so you
Yeah.
could see all the ripples happening in the water. And so
Yeah.
imagine what's happening when we're hitting these sound bowls and we're using our voice, like how our body is responding to that. Even though we're not physically seeing it, we're not seeing like the skin on our
Yeah.
face ripple, but our body is actually receiving those textures, those frequencies, those layers of sound. So we're really opening up to something that's bypassing the conscious mind, which is really important because the conscious mind is what is trying to sit there and logically decide everything that we should do. And the sound kind of gives us this place where we can surrender that and just allow this body wisdom to receive and to express. And so there's so many things that can happen in a sound healing session. There's so many things that can happen in a sound bath or in energy work because our body is going to respond in that moment. And so when you're working with a practitioner who's tuned into holographic sound or they've practiced like working with their intuition and voice, they're really tuning into what it is that your body needs. So of course, we're setting an intention, what it is that you want to receive in the session, but it's also opening up to what's best for me? What's in my highest good? What's in the highest good of all for me to receive right now? So we're leaving space. We're leaving space for spirit, for source, for higher intelligence to come through and work through our bodies. And amazing things happen, like miraculous things happen, and they could be so subtle and they could be so profound. And the person next to you could be having a totally profound experience, and you could still be like wrestling your mind. And it's going to be different every day. Like we could meet every single day, and I promise you, the session will be completely different because you'll be
Yeah.
integrating what you just happened. Like today's different. Maybe you slept differently, or you've got more stress today, or you're excited about something going on. So we're just constantly moving and flowing, even though the body looks like it's pretty static. There's so much going on. Like there's so much going on in here all the time that we're just disconnected from. So sound for me helps us tune back into what's going on in the body. Like really letting the mind kind of be in the back seat and putting the body in the front so the body can kind of let us know what's going on.
Mm. That's so beautiful. Oh my goodness, everything that you said. Where do I want to go with this? Like, first of all, I want to say that I am celebrating you reclaiming your voice
Mm, thank you.
after leaving it, with the church and everything. Like, I can relate to that a lot. And so that was really special. And how you related the voice to like a fingerprint. I never thought of it that way. That's super powerful. But yeah, and I kept hearing like as you were talking, it was like we are nature. So like and I love how you make so many beautiful nature sounds. I'm like, ooh, I want to make sounds like that. And then I'm like, but wait,
Mm,
I have my own sounds I make too, and they're also unique and cool too, but like different, And
yeah.
so they will have a different effect,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And then bringing us back into the body and how we receive, and you were speaking about, how these things can be felt on different levels, right? And sometimes it is more subconscious and we don't necessarily see it, right, in
Hmm.
physical, but it is truly happening and transformation is happening just like all of the things that our bodies are miraculously doing all day, every day that we just, it just happens on autopilot. I'm like, thank you, body.
Yeah.
Thank you, nature, and all of creation. So let's have that guide us into like talking about the energy centers of the body and the chakras.
Mm.
And like when you're doing the sound healing, how do you do that? How do you guide people through that part? And like how does that
Yeah.
affect,
So there's
things?
different ways that I do it. Each session and each sound bath is really customized and tailored to the person, to the group. So when we're In the training, what we're teaching is what each of those centers are doing because each of our chakra centers are corresponding to different aspects of our body and different aspects of our being. So, where our root is at the base of our tailbone, and it's like our hips, and it's our gluteus maximus, and it's our pelvis, and it's all of these really important, like base parts of us. That's also corresponding to the foundation of our life. That's our security and our safety. So we really want to start there because I had one teacher describe it as like bowls that are stacked on top of each other. And so if the bottom bowl is off,
Yeah.
all of the other bowls are going to be off to
Uh,
compensate it.
I
So we
like
really
that.
want to start with the root because for us to really do this work, it's about creating a sense of safety. So
Yeah.
I always
Foundation.
encourage people to get really comfortable working in the root chakra because when we're working with anyone, usually there's going to be something going on there because
Mm,
that's also the foundation of our life, which happens in childhood. So
right.
from 0 to 7, you're getting all the programming, all the blueprints, all the stories, everything that you think the world is, that's being like set in your foundation. So we really want to be gentle and tender with that area. And also, as a facilitator, it's my responsibility to create a sense of safety because I'm not actually healing your body. I'm creating an optimal condition for your body to feel safe enough to heal itself. So
Yes.
that's really what this work is about is how do we create the condition of safety? Because when you feel safe, that's when your parasympathetic nervous system turns on. That's that rest, digest time in your body that says, oh yeah, this thing that's going on with my liver or like that elbow that's been bothering me. I could actually like do a little work on that. So then your body will use the sound, will use the energy, will use whatever's going on because it's feeling safe. And so that's also creating like a sense of coherence in the group. So a really powerful group is going to be one where that whole group starts feeling safe together. So people's
Mm,
breath starts synchronizing. Like we hear the person next to us take a deep breath, and then our body automatically takes a deep breath with it. So we're really like starting at the root. What is it that safety is? That's also where finances are involved. That's our housing, that's our relationships. So then from there, we move up into the sacral, and your sacral is about your creativity, it's your passion, it's your pleasure, it's how we move, like when we feel safe, what is it we want to create? Because that's naturally creative. That's life force that's like happening there. But it's also where we hold that ancestral information. So whatever happened in our bloodline, whether we know about it, whether our parents or our grandparents or they knew about it, that's coded there. So there can be a lot of shame that lives there. There could be a lot of guilt that lives there. There can be a lot of things and stories that we're not even consciously aware of because they were part of that like early programming. So there's also usually a lot of work that's happening in the sacral, and we're kind of like living life like mostly in the upper chakras because we spend so much time in our heads.
mm,
So really taking that time to slow down and be with these lower base chakras is really important. So then we move up into the solar plexus, and that's like between your ribs and your belly button. And that's your sense of power. That's creativity, like express. That's how you set boundaries. That's really where we move from when we're in our power is from that solar plexus. And then we move into the heart space. And that's how we tune in and connect with everything. When we're talking about our field is being generated from our heart. So that's at the center of our being. It's in the middle of this little chakra stack in our body, which we have more than just the chakras in our body. But when we're talking about the main seven that we see the rainbow of,
sure.
and so when our heart is coherent, that's when we're creating this field around us. And so I think there's studies that show that like a 6 foot radius around you is really like when your heart is coherent and it's really vibrant, that's you connecting you to everything, to the earth, to
Mm,
source, to each other, to other people. So it's really about connection. That's where everything about love is. That's what's happening in the heart. Self-love, love of others, acceptance, forgiveness.
mhm,
And we also have our higher heart that's supporting us in discernment. Like
mhm.
it's love, but love with boundaries.
Yeah.
And then we move into the throat. That's where expression is. That's how we take all of this creative energy and we actually make something. We actually say something. We actually like put something into the world beyond just what's going on internally. And so
Right.
because our neck is the skinniest part of our body, there's a very natural bottleneck that happens here. So a lot of us feel constricted in that expression. And when
Mhm.
we go back to that things that happened ancestrally, we can also experience a lot of past life stuff here because over time, so many of us experienced times and lifetimes where that expression was not allowed, or maybe we were punished or even killed for it. And
Yeah.
so we carry that. The body keeps the score. The body is remembering things that we don't. So the brain
Yeah.
is not connected to those lifetimes because that's too much data. It would get
Yeah.
in the way. But our
Yeah.
body knows that at some time we, our soul, experience something. And so it creates a constriction here.
Yeah.
So then we move up into the third eye. That's our imagination. That's our ability to vision, to tune in to other dimensions and realities, our psychic gifts.
Yeah.
And that's how we're like visioning this new future. That's also how we're receiving like downloads and all that imagination that's like happening in the third eye. And our crown is what connects us to source. So that's where the divine pours right into your body and into your head. And so we're working on not just one chakra. The whole thing is how do we support the whole system? But
Right.
ideally, what we're doing is we're moving through them in a
Mhm.
way like you learn in the training or in other trainings, or maybe you just intuitively know this or have practiced this. But what we want to do is we want to open the channel because you're a
Mhm.
channel. And so
Mhm.
we're actually always connected to source and we're always connected to the earth, but based on
Mhm.
how intentional we are about that, that can be constricted. And it can even be shut off. Like there are things that we could do where we're just like, oh, no, not doing that. So really we're opening up the body gently and slowly and methodically so that that channel is open. Because once that opens, then you have a toroidal field. That's really when we could start playing with the light body because we can't get the full of the power that exists within us when we're imbalanced or disconnected or there's things that aren't quite in alignment. So that
Right.
whole system of opening up then allows for this channel of light and energy to be pouring, flowing through. And so it's coming down through your crown, but it's also going up through your spine. And so in that way, it's like the energy is flowing back and forth. And that's if you've if you're familiar with the toroidal field, it kind of looks like a
Yeah.
donut. So you
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
have like
Yeah.
this donut field of energy around you,
Right.
which is a magnetic field. So we really want to strengthen that magnetic field because that's creating boundaries in our life. It's creating
Right.
protection in our life. It's separating us from what's outside of us. It's allowing us to be tuned into the truth of who we are. But we're
Mhm.
also like intending that it's divine love that's coming in. It's divine wisdom that we're embodying and expressing then.
Yes. Oh, what a beautiful tour and explanation. Thank you of the chakras and the
Yeah.
channel. And I kept hearing and seeing like what's so beautiful too about this modality is that it really incorporates so many different things, right? It's the physical body, it's the energy body,
Mm.
it's the whole energetic field, right? It's color, it's sound, it's, it's like all of the things.
Yeah.
And when we bring all those things together, it does create this very powerful, it's like a perfect storm, right? It's kind of how I'm seeing it, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny that they said it in that way because what we're really doing is I feel like it's almost like the calm and the chaos, right?
Mm.
Because there's always so much going on within our bodies, right? And all around us. But somehow we can like take it all and like bring it all into like alignment and
Mm.
even though there's still a
Yeah.
lot of chaos, right?
Yeah.
And so being able to do that whenever we need to is such a
Mhm.
beautiful gift.
Yeah. And one thing too is like all of these things are a practice. So I would love
Yeah.
to say that you could go to one sound bath and your chakras will be aligned forever. But the
Right.
reality is the second that you step out of that space and back into your life, your body's going to
Yeah.
go back.
Woo!
It's so
Yes.
practiced over
It's a
here. And so then
practice.
you hop on your phone and you start scrolling Instagram or you go down a YouTube Shorts rabbit hole like they get me on. And so then that's going to pull us out of ourselves, right? Because then we're
Yeah.
back inundated with the noise of life. And so it's a practice. And my Reiki master teacher, Shannon Chada, she told us in our training that when you're doing a Reiki session, you're essentially taking the chakras. And so say the energy is like all the way out here, and you're saying like this,
Ah,
like this,
yes.
like this. And so the more
Beautiful.
often you do that, the easier it is for that to become the default. So
Right.
it's really about how can I take these practices and integrate them into my life so that I'm training my nervous system, I'm training my being to
Yeah.
be in the center. And I love the
Yes.
Tao because it talks about being in the way, and the way is the middle. And so,
Aha.
like, a great visualization is with the yin yang symbol.
Yeah.
And, we think about, oh, the light and the dark and light. But
Yeah.
actually, like, the point, the way is that line that goes through the center. Like, can you be in
Oh,
that still point between the dark and the light and everything between
right.
it? Can we walk the way, the center
Yeah.
way? And so we want to train our body and training our
Uh,
body. And that's why the instruments are such a great tool. It's why I love crystal singing bowls, is because they
yeah.
offer that entrainment. So it's helping the
Mm,
brain come offline because you're getting that wave, that synchronous
right.
wave. And so then your brain is kind of like tracking the wave, and then your body's surrendering to the wave so that you're not even thinking about the wave, but that
Yeah.
wave is supporting that flow to come into the center, and then to let that other stuff kind of go.
Yeah. And then you
Yeah.
get to be feel a lot more lighter. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. Yeah, I was going to ask you about how you see the holographic field and the torus, and you mentioned that a little bit. But like, I'm curious, do you see the sacred geometry and like when you open up that field and you look, do you see it in that way or how do you see it? Yeah, or do
So
you just feel
sometimes
it?
I
I mean, some people
do.
feel it and don't see it,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah. It's always a little different based on who I'm working with and or with working with myself, like just what's going to be supportive for me in that
yeah,
way. And I do get a lot of visuals in my work, but I tend more to be like feeling and knowing. So I can like feel when that field like opens. And there's also a lot of knowing. Like what's so cool is
yeah,
that, each of us have these different clear gifts. There's so
yeah,
many of the clear gifts. And the more that we develop one, then the more that the others start to come into play. So I've definitely had
yeah,
incredible experiences of visuals of the toroidal field and of the sacred geometry. But for me, more often, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm
yeah.
sensing it. And I have a lot of auditory. So like I'm getting like guidance that way. So it's not
That's
always for me
cool.
visually experiencing
Right.
it. But I did have a client I was working with, and I had set up the holographic field because that's what I do if I come into a space, whether whatever I'm doing, I'm setting holograms
Nice.
everywhere.
Love that.
And so holograms are essentially these sacred geometrical bubbles. And so we use the flower of life and then we create a sphere from that. So you're working with like a three-dimensional flower of life and then you're spinning it. And so all of the sacred geometries can be created within that flower of life. And so then when you create it, then you're getting the multidimensional. Okay.
Love that.
So the next day I came back to the event and like just woman after woman was coming up to me and they're like, how do you do what you do? Because the facilitator, when she sat down in the circle, she could see the sacred geometry. She could see all the holograms,
Oh,
she could see the whole field, and she knew that it was me because I had come in and done it. And so she shared that with the participants. And it was such a powerful reflection for me because it was just something that's so natural to me and I don't really
yeah.
see it, but I'm still intending that it's happening, even though I'm not visually experiencing it. But some of us do have the gift to be able to see it. And so this work is real. And I've just been blessed by very cool confirmations and synchronicities with people who do get to experience the work visually.
That's amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I got full angel bumps.
There's so much of that in this work. That's why I love it.
I know, right? And that is like you said, the beauty, another part of the beauty of this is we get to bring our intuitive gifts
Yeah.
into these sessions. And that adds a whole nother layer of beautiful service that we are able
Mhm.
to offer. And to be able to look at that bigger picture of all the different factors that are playing into our realities, right? Because once we can co-create with these different parts of our realities, right? It opens up a whole new playground. And it's so cute when you were saying about the bubbles. I love that. I knew you were a fellow Care Bear sister. When I think of like the Care Bears, I think of these little heart bubbles just coming out of their bellies,
Yeah.
right? And then they contain like their symbolism because they each have their own like gifts that are pictured on their little bellies, right? That they offer.
Yeah.
That's their specialty or whatever. And
I
I
love
just thought
that.
that was so cool. And then the other thing I was seeing is you and I and all of us as we have this potential to be these like projectors. Like imagine ourselves as the technology, right? Where we are projecting these laser images into the field, right? And some people can see it and some can't. It's like that magic ink, right?
Yeah.
You can write with it, it's like disappearing, and then you like flash a light or however that works, and you could see it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
cool.
and they can't see it yet because
Yeah,
I don't think that
exactly.
any of us are limited to one
No,
gift, and
that's
they're all
right.
developing over time. And so the more
Yeah,
intentional we are about developing that, the more that we get access to. It's kind of like
that's
if you keep
right.
showing up for class, you're going to keep learning stuff.
That's so right. Yeah. I know
Yeah.
people always say, I hear people say, I'm not special. Everyone has these gifts. And the way I like to say it is, I am special. We are all each special. And we all each have the potential and the access to all the same things if we so desire to
Yeah.
to do that. So what a gift. What so many
Yeah.
gifts.
Yes, it's so
I love
good.
that because I was going to ask you about an experience or like a session experience that you've had. So thank you for just sharing that because that was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the other fun part too, is that, you know, every person that we come into contact with, in every situation, every sound bath that we do, every session, we get to learn more and
Mhm.
expand more. And it's beautiful. So let's talk a little bit about the bees, right?
Yes.
Since we love the bees so much too, and I always love to bring in, our personal passions and weave them in with each other, right?
Mhm.
Because we always say the bees, somehow they're like magically connected to everything.
Yeah.
And so the more I like sit with the bees and sit with all the different things and continue to weave them together, I'm like, whoa, I had no idea. And again, that's the beauty and the wonder of like newness and change
Mm.
and like, learning new things. So I'm excited to continue to explore on my own and together all the ways in which we can have
Yeah.
fun with with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, but since bees obviously, we know they communicate and regulate through vibration. How do you feel and sense the connection between the natural systems and sound healing in
Mm.
general? Like,
Mm. I
I'm
love that.
curious. Yeah,
I think that sound healing is so powerful because it's bringing us back to that.
yeah,
Because I think we've always been captivated by sound and
yeah.
we're also regulated by sound. So, like, for instance, if I have a client who is really dysregulated, one of the fastest ways to drop them into the present moment is to play bird song in the session.
Oh, I
Because
love
that,
that.
because there's something in us that when we hear birds singing, then we know that we're safe. Because
Safety,
the birds aren't
yes.
going to sing if it's not safe.
I've heard that, yes.
So we're like naturally already designed to be regulated by nature, right? Same with ocean sounds. Like all of our white noise things are nature sounds, and that's not an accident. It's because it's so regulating to us. And so when we are sharing this sound, this natural sound that comes out of us, right? Like what we're doing right here, that's creating that resonance in the field. And so I love everything about bees. Like we could just talk about bees this whole time because they're just so fun and so powerful.
Yeah.
But there are lots of different reasons that I think they're really coming back. And it's because one, if we didn't have bees, we couldn't be here. That
Hmm.
would just because everything that we need to survive, the bees are actually essential to that. So really honoring this larger cycle of life and this larger harmony of the ecosystem of Earth, of our co-creation here. And what's so cool about the bees is that they are each really unique and they each have their role, but they're not actually in competition with each other. They're actually like being to be. They know that they're here to do their thing.
That's
And so they
right.
kind of move as the gift that they are. They go flower to flower, they do their waggle dances or their, buzzing, but they're also tuned into everything else. And
Right. That
so
unified field.
exactly, like they actually get to see it.
Yeah.
They get to like buzz along it and know what they're doing. And they just are really profound teachers. and they find me all over the world. And I'm so grateful for that because it's this reminder all the time that nature is listening because they're not asking anything. They're just buzzing by to see if you're present. Like, are you tuned in?
Yeah.
And so they're like this beautiful little invitation, like back into being, back into the present moment, which I don't know about you, but I need those reminders to come back and like be
Heck
here
yeah.
now.
Definitely.
And so bees for me
Definitely.
are a great reminder for that. And I've
Mm.
had really cool experiences where I'll be somewhere and I'm asking for a sign, and the bees are always a sign that I'm in alignment. So I'm grateful for that. And I shared at a golden hive, we were hiking and it was this pretty amazing forest and like very few little signs that said which way to go. You're kind of just going until you see a sign. And so we started going down this path, and I was like, I don't think this is the way. I think we're supposed to be taking another way. But I was with a
Mm.
couple kids, I was like letting them lead. And then I had this big bumblebee come right in my face, and he was just like kind of like buzzing. And then he like buzzed back to like pull us back onto the path. And so we
Ooh.
followed the bee and we got like back onto the path, and it was just like this, like so simple, so gentle, but so like you knew actually. So if you're not going to trust it, I'll just come in and I'll help like guide you to where you get to be, where it's in your highest good to be. So I think they're just
It's
pretty
like they're
miraculous.
serving us, yeah, it's like they're serving us the crumbs on the trail that we left for
Yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah,
right?
they're just like they're little golden sparkle dust. And that's a great metaphor, I think, for me too, because I kind of like see myself as that Maddie Bee energy, right? There's so
Yeah.
many reasons that the
Oh.
bees came into that name, but I see us as that. Like when we're in alignment, when we're sharing our soul gifts, when we're operating from the frequency of love, when our intention is for this health and well-being for all beings, then the earth kind of invites us into another level of the game. And so we've talked a little bit about that of grid work. And so I really see that as when we are radiating, we're sparkling. And so as we move, those sparkles are just following us. We're just like leaving our little trail of glitter. And so
Sparkle dust trails.
I see that between the bees and between us is that when we're living in service and we're doing it for the good of the hive and for the good of all those that are supported by the hive, like the bees aren't just doing it for the bees. They know that all of these other systems are benefiting from their work, from their play, from their rest, even like bees and flowers like napping. Come
Oh, it's so cute.
it's so cute.
Hey, we should create some big old flower beds and for
Oh,
us to
yes, to be little bees in.
that's so
Okay, I
cute.
love this.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's the
good.
fun. That's the fun though, right? But it's true, you're speaking to the golden hive as this unified field, right? And how when we are connected through those golden threads and that energy, right?
Yeah.
That resonance becomes like our new reality, and then that's how we get to experience. And so, wow, that's really beautiful.
I love it.
I love that. Now I'm always going to see golden sparkles all around you.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I
it's
already do, but like even more now, you know what I mean? In a different way, right?
and I think that's such a cool thing is that, maybe it's golden or maybe it's other
Yeah.
colors, and each of us have that frequency. And as these crystalline cities come online, as these sacred sites like reawaken, they really are asking for our frequency. They're asking for us to come and bring our presence, our intention, our love, our energy, our voices to these places. And so
Yes.
it's like a quota. Like they got to fill up the cup of like little sparkly bubbles before the whole thing like is glowing. And so when we're listening to that, when we're following that, when we're allowing ourselves to be led from our heart, we don't even
Yes.
know what we're pouring into. We don't know like that the grocery store needs like a cup of love over there, but here we are like loving in the grocery store. And that's like, it really is impacting the whole. And when we're talking about this coherent field that we create, Kat and I did an experiment with dowsing rods where we practice like being in that joy, love field and creating it and really measuring how big that field can get. And so
Fun.
the practice, so first we just did like a regular measure, like how big the field was. And then it was really this like think about the things that like make you feel kind of bad, like when you're
Yeah.
feeling like kind of down on yourself and your
Yeah.
field literally shrinks to the size of your body. It is like you
Wow.
could go from having like a normal, healthy field, but when you start letting those thoughts kind of
Yeah.
go of like
Right.
the I'm not doing enough or do people like me or whatever your inner critic narrative is, when you
Sure.
let those thoughts kind of run, your field immediately shrinks. You
Yeah.
lose all of that.
Contracts.
Yeah. And so then the opposite of that, when you think about something that you really love, like a
Yeah.
joyful moment or
Yeah.
something
It's like,
like,
whoa.
yeah, like kids and pets are a great one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you have an animal that you really just love. And so that's my practice. Like, I have like a very specific memory of my puppy who's since passed. And
Oh.
every time that I see her like jumping in the waves, like my heart just like explodes open.
Yeah.
And so when we
Oh.
did that, my like the dowsing rods, it was the entire yard. So my field went from here to the entire
Wow.
size of the yard in like seconds, just with what I was thinking about and what I was focusing on.
The
And so
power.
when we're in that coherent field, we actually can be taking up the whole grocery store with that loving intention. And so we
Yeah.
don't even have to have a conversation with anyone else. That's a completely internal experience where we're
Yeah.
focusing on something that brings us joy, that connects us to our heart, that really like opens up that flow of love, and then our
Yeah.
field responds, and you can measure it. You can actually measure that heart coherent field.
That's
And
so
that's
cool.
incredible to me.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Man, I bet when you are in, because I have yet to go to, I mean, obviously in the training we had
Yeah.
the experiences together, but like I haven't actually gone to like a local sound bath as of yet, which I'm looking
Mm,
forward to doing actually soon.
yeah.
And it's different when you're doing, when you're doing the bowls yourself versus when you're
Yeah.
receiving, just receiving. But like, how does that feel when everybody all of a sudden you you probably because you're so tuned into the energies, right? And you're doing the
Mm.
sound and everything. You probably feel when everybody's coherence kind of like comes into harmonization, right? In the room,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're like, okay, we're there now.
Yeah, and it happens so fast. And
Is
that's
it?
why, because the spaces also hold the frequency. So that's why, like, a big part of having an altar or meditating in the same place, like, if you kind of have your spot, that
Yeah,
space holds that energy. So then it's
so
easier for you to
true.
tune back into it. So I've
So
definitely
true.
noticed that, especially in studios and stuff, that those studios make it so easy for people to drop in because that space is holding that field.
Yeah,
And
the
so then it's
container
easier
is
for us to
set.
drop in more quickly. But yeah, once
Nice.
you feel the energy shift and people drop into coherence, it's like
Yeah,
there's just an ease that kind of takes over the space. It's an openness, it's an availability to what is. Like that it's
yeah,
like I am open to receive what would be really good for me.
yeah.
And
It,
there's a softening that happens. And then I soften and you soften and she softens and and they're all softening. And then next thing you know, there's someone snoring because they went so soft. Like
right.
they dropped all the way in. And so
Yeah.
that's always I say that playfully, but there's no shame in the game if you fall asleep. And that's actually like such a great compliment to my work or to the facilitator
Yeah.
because that means that you have gone to the deepest place of healing. Like
Oh,
how many spaces do you have in your life where you could
yeah.
like feel comfortable falling asleep?
Yeah, right?
Could
Not
probably name
many.
them on one hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. So, yeah, I mean, truly, because when we come into resonance together, something greater truly organizes itself. And at
Mm,
this point, I'm like seeing and hearing all about the womb of the mother and the sisterhood
mhm.
cycles syncing together and like all the things, but we won't go there. But what I would love to do right now together
Yeah.
is to bring through an intuitive sound session together. Let's just play.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
play and bring some sound
Amazing.
through for our listeners today.
Okay,
So I'm going to
well,
go ahead and let you lead, and then I will just intuitively add to it if it feels aligned. If that sounds good to you,
yes,
does that?
please.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay,
All right.
so I'm gonna invite everyone. If it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, you can keep them open. Yeah. And with everything that we do, we're always setting the intention that you are receiving what's in your greatest and highest good, and that it's also in alignment with the greatest and highest good of all. So I work really intentionally with Source and with the earth and with our teams and guides. And so we've already set the containers around you, but you might imagine that there is a sphere, a bubble of rainbow light around you. And so I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And another one of those, breathing in and out. And one more, breathing in and out. And inviting you to relax and drop your shoulders. Maybe shake out your hands a little bit. Give your head a little roll if it feels good. And if you'd like to, you can place a hand on your heart and on your belly. And I'm going to invite everyone into a couple hums together. So when we hum, that's actually going to vibrate all the cells in your body from the inside. So breathing in. Mm.
Mm.
And so I'm going to invite you on this next one to just notice. Maybe you feel that hum in your mouth or your throat or maybe somewhere else in your body. So breathing in it one more time. Mm.
Mm.
And so if you'd like to continue humming, you're welcome to do that. And if you'd like to receive, you can simply receive at this point. And if there's any sounds that you would like to make, there's a whole range of sound that would love to be expressed through you. So just inviting you to tune in and notice if there's any sound, any expression that you would like to make. And inviting you to let it out wherever you are.
Ow. Woo. Woo.
And inviting you to notice any sensations in your body as you listen, as you tone, as you receive, as you express. And then I'm going to invite you to focus on any area of your body. If there's a piece of your body, it doesn't have to be your physical body. This could also be your emotional, your mental body, anywhere that could use a little bit more support. And I'm going to invite you to tune into that area or to tune into whatever that is and to ask it what sound would be supportive. And so notice if you hear something or you just feel ready to express and go ahead and let that out. And it can be quiet if that feels good and is more comfortable. Or maybe you really allow that volume. So just tuning into an area of your body and expressing that sound. And so, whichever area of your body you chose, if it's a situation, I'm going to invite you to imagine, to visualize or imagine a sphere of light around that area of your body. And if it's a situation, if it involves something external from you, you can also imagine placing a sphere of light around that place, that person, that situation, that bank account, whatever that is. And then inviting you to bring in all of the colors of the rainbow. And if there's a specific color that you feel guided to, inviting that color into that sphere or into those spheres. And then on our next breath, I'm going to invite you to breathe in and then to do an exhale under pressure. So we teach this in the training. It's going to be like a, and so we're going to set the field with that breath. So bringing all those colors, those healing frequencies, those harmonizing frequencies into the sphere around your body, but also into this other sphere that you've created or spheres that you've created. And so we'll take a deep breath in and exhale under pressure. And so then inviting you to come back into your body, back into that present moment. Your eyes might still be closed. Just tuning into yourself for a minute here. And if your hands moved, you could replace them on your body if you'd like. And inviting you to take a deep breath into your heart. Just imagining that air, that light, that life force going right into your heart space, filling your heart, filling your lungs. And as you exhale, imagine this heart field breathing out and expanding around you, expanding this field of light around your body with the exhale. So breathing into your heart and then breathing out from your heart, just reinforcing this field of light around you. And you can make it whatever size is perfect for you right now. And as you feel ready, as it feels good, you can give your fingers and toes a little wiggle. And you can gently open your eyes and return back here. Welcome back.
Oh, Maddie
Hey.
B, your energy is so beautiful. And your
So fun.
medicine, oh my goodness, miraculous medicine. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
literally was called to grab this rose quartz that's shaped like a
Oh,
heart. And
I
so
love it.
I was holding that the whole time. And then as soon as I opened my eyes and like looked at you, it was like I was seeing everything with through a rose-colored glasses lens.
Mm. Oh,
Rose quartz, like
I love it.
beauty and love and just all of it. So
Mm.
powerful energy. And when you focus it like that, you can see and feel the power of it. So
Mhm.
thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you for
for your
your,
medicine and
oh
sound and
yeah.
bringing in our buzzing bees.
Yeah. You know, I really felt a lot of that for me was really in that foundational base chakra. I could feel and sense even the color red. I was very much attached to my chair. Like I felt like a heavy rock, but not in a heavy sense that felt uncomfortable. It was more of like a comfortable heavy. Like I am
Mm.
here and grounded and fully just like calm. It was like calm waters.
Yeah.
It was a
Amazing.
really great feeling. So thank you.
Yeah.
What a wonderful
Rooted.
way to be rooted for the day.
Yeah. It's so
And
powerful. And that was a quick exercise, but like so much can happen in just a quick exercise. And for those listening who participated in our exercise, maybe what did you think about the sound that you made? How was it tuning in to your body and asking what sound it wanted? Like maybe that's a new experience for you, but it's very powerful to listen and then to be that instrument for ourselves.
exactly. And this is how medical intuitives and stuff, work and how we receive answers from our physical body and what are the symptoms. So yeah, you can, I mean, and by no means am I saying don't see your doctor or whatever, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, we can do a lot of this ourselves
Yeah.
at home and subtly and lovingly and intentionally. And so it is such a beautiful gift and modality to learn and explore and practice. And so thank you for
Yeah.
bringing in that practice piece because that is a really huge piece. And for me, I have a lot of room to improve on that piece. So
Mm.
thank you for that inspiration
Yeah.
and
Well, and
beautiful
that's
reminder.
it's an important foundation too, because receiving from others is beautiful and giving to others is beautiful, but that time that we really take with ourselves is so precious. And at a certain point, the flow will stop for being able to give if we're not actually replenishing ourselves first. So it's
Right.
something that I go in and out of being great at as far as
Yeah.
self-practice goes, but it really is
Yeah.
the foundation needed to have a healthy practice of supporting and serving others is by
Yeah.
tuning in with ourselves and taking that time and really
Yeah.
being with that medicine with ourselves. So whether that's Reiki, whether that's holographic sound, whether that's any of these other amazing modalities that are
Yeah.
in the world and that you may be practicing, really like number one is how are we using that with ourselves?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. When we come into that remembrance and that feeling within our bodies and we learn to self source, right? And
Mhm.
remember that home and safety and all of that is truly within. It all comes from within because it's a belief, a thought process, a perspective, a feeling.
Mhm.
And we can be affected by obviously our external, factors. And also we have the power to play with that, to work with
Mhm.
that on an ongoing basis, right? We don't need to be victims of anything.
Right. Yeah, and
Truly.
that's part of our power also is that we don't want to be outsourcing our power.
Yeah.
That's why this work is
Right.
remembering what's already in here
Right.
so that we can be that embodiment and then share from overflow rather than
Yes.
sharing from depletion or trying to prove
Yes.
something.
Yes. Exactly. Oh, that's so beautiful. So, yeah, thank you for inviting everyone to continue to notice all of the sounds in their daily lives more intentionally because, yeah, it's so powerful. Watch, you'll walk outside and all of a sudden the birds, okay, I'm
Mhm.
safe, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
that's one of my
Yeah.
favorite things actually is bird song, especially in the
Me
morning.
too.
I'm like, good morning, birds. And I'll even
Yeah.
sing to them too.
Oh, I love that. I was
Yeah.
just listening to something the other day that was talking about how the birds around you know you. Like, and they're actually like singing about you. And so
Oh
you
my
can
gosh.
you can observe how comfortable they are with you based on if they're changing what they're doing when you come outside. So if they like get quiet, then they're kind
Wow.
of seeing you as a threat. Versus if they just carry on, then like you're like one of them. They're just like singing like, "Oh, Sabrina's outside again. How great." So that they're
That's
really
so cool.
nature is aware of us more than we are aware of nature. And that's been such a cool part of developing my practices is that this natural world is always communicating with us.
Yeah.
And it's so gentle and so consistent and so loving because the more that we come into harmony with that, the more the whole comes into harmony. Like they recognize that they're
Yes.
part of a whole. They're not like individualized into like this little fox is the only fox that could do fox things. They're like
Yeah,
this fox is
yeah.
part of a much larger ecosystem, and it's one in a whole series of in a much larger creation of. So yeah,
Yeah.
those sounds, nature sounds, and just like the sounds of life, they remind us that we're not as isolated as our minds might make us believe sometimes.
Yeah, right? And even though the sounds are so different between us and the birds and the cars and the whatever, every sound does have a purpose.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, well, how does it, and it just becomes a question of dropping in more into that awareness and asking, what is this sound bringing? How is this bringing harmony into my body, or is it actually bringing disharmony into my body, right? Because a lot of sounds can bring disharmony, and that
totally.
that can feel totally different. So just becoming aware and recognizing what sounds that you're bringing into your life purposefully, maybe not purposefully, but how are they affecting you? And then you can even clean up the sounds, right? It's like choosing what records you want to listen to, what
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah,
music. It's the same as
yeah.
like who do you want to interact with and what words they're speaking, right? Because every word has, its own frequency. And like we said, we can go on and on and on, and it's like so fun to talk about all this stuff.
There's so much good stuff. I
But
know.
I love that you brought the humming in because that is something that's really powerful but super simple and you can do it anywhere.
Hmm.
Like I was literally getting my nails done like a while back with my daughter and the lady doing my nails, she was humming the whole time for like an
Oh,
hour, over an hour.
I
And
feel so.
my heart was so full. I even told her, I'm like, I love your humming. It's so sweet. And I started humming with her a few times. Like, I don't even know if
Yeah,
she noticed because we weren't like talking. I don't think she
yeah,
spoke English very well, but it made for such a pleasant experience.
yeah.
It's so
And it's so
beautiful.
powerful too, like when, because a big part of why I stopped using my voice was that I had all of this like self-judgment, but like
Hmm.
perceived judgment about what my voice and it not being good enough or beautiful enough or maybe even annoying. And so I was like restricting my own expression. And what I find now, I mean, now I'm much more free with sharing my sound in the world. But I get these reflections all the time of how these different sounds really resonate for people. And it's not even like the crazy silly sounds or the like odd sounds. Like it's even the simple sounds. It's like a
Yeah,
or breathing. Like I guess
yeah.
I do that. I'll just be like humming all the time. And I was at an event sometime and someone actually like saw me do the hum and they were like, I was wondering where that sound was coming from. So it's like we don't even necessarily know the sounds that we're putting into the world, but what if
Right.
those sounds are actually really regulating not only for us, but for people around us?
Yeah,
So yeah, like how do these sounds make us feel?
yeah.
Because there's so much sound. There's
Hmm.
so much sound, and there's
Yeah,
sound we don't even know. Like basically everything that you plug in your home is emitting a frequency. So there are just
yeah.
sounds all over the place that you can't consciously perceive, but it doesn't mean they're not there.
Right.
I actually heard that there's people who will come into your home and they will like tune your different devices so that they're not
Oh,
discordant because your microwave could be doing this and like your dryer is doing that. And so it's actually causing this discord.
oh,
And so you're like, God,
interesting.
I just feel like crap whenever I'm running the dryer and the fan on at the
Yeah.
same time. But
That's
that we
like
can
feng
actually
shui stuff too, right? Yeah.
like next level feng shui. I never
Yeah.
even considered that there would be someone who would be like tuning your electrical gadgets so that there's like
Right?
a harmonic hum rather than a discordant hum in your home. So really,
Wow.
and that's another reason that being out in nature is
Yeah.
so supportive for us because we are like electrical impulses are everywhere.
Yeah.
And the more towers that go up and the more G's we
Yeah.
get in the phones and things, like our bodies are paying the price for that. So
Yeah.
even though we're not hearing it, we're not
Yeah.
audibly perceiving it, those frequencies are having an impact on us. And so the more that we can disconnect from it, and I know it's so hard to like leave your phone alone when you go outside, but like whenever we can do that, we can create that space where we could just leave a
Yeah.
device not touching our body. It doesn't take long for that body to
Yeah.
like tune back into this larger loving field. So really encouraging that. whenever
Yeah.
possible to be
Yeah.
like, take the electrical devices off and stand
Right.
outside barefoot.
Yeah, yeah. I was just seeing and hearing like, wouldn't it be cool if you had like a permanent large tuning fork like in your house and you just walk in and you just hit that thing and then everything like goes into alignment and you're like all
Yeah.
harmonized and you're like,
Oh,
sweet.
how good that would be.
But then they were showing me that like we are that tuning
We
fork. So
are.
when we step into our homes,
Yeah.
we are automatically reattuning into that space.
Hmm.
And through our intention, we can be like, okay, this is how I want to set my space today. I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to put on some soft music. I'm going to turn the lights down. I'm going to do this or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I want to be energized. I want to be awake. I'm going to open up the curtains. I'm going to let the light in. I'm going to put on some
Yeah.
citrus oil smells. I'm like, wake myself up, you know?
Mhm.
So by bringing all these like subtle factors in, just like with the holographic sound, right? And
Mhm.
just bringing it all together, we
Yeah.
create this beautiful environment to support us in all of that. So,
Mhm.
wow, that feels like really beautiful full circle to
Yeah.
me. Does that feel like complete and yummy? That feels
It
really good.
feels so good. Yeah. So this has been such a fun conversation and
Yeah,
opportunity to just connect with you and get to talk about
yeah,
something we're both so passionate about. And yeah, it's
likewise.
exciting to me. Before we hopped on here, we were talking about how consciousness is expanding so rapidly, and people are
Yeah,
really open in ways that we haven't been open in like a really long time to.
yeah,
And we're ready. Like we're ready for the medicine.
yeah.
And turns out we're the medicine.
Where, who knew?
Who knew?
Now we do. Now we
Now we do. Yeah. So
So we
if
get to share the medicine.
exactly, yeah, if there's one takeaway for me to share with all of you, it would be that you are the medicine and your voice is the instrument that is needed here. It is the expression of the uniqueness of you. And we need you. We need your voice.
That's
Like
right.
the chorus is not complete
That's
without
right.
your expression in it.
That's
So
right. We need your
your invitation.
creativity, your inspiration, your light, your love, all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. And yeah, we invite you to just hum whenever it feels aligned, hum.
Um,
And set a beautiful intention for yourself that you are humming yourself back into harmonization with whatever it is that
mm,
you would like to be in harmony with in any
mhm.
given moment.
Yeah.
Maddie, thank
Every
you
moment.
so much. Thank you so much for being such a beautiful inspiration to me and to the whole world, for sharing your medicine, for sharing all your gifts, your energy, your heart, everything. I'm so grateful. We are so grateful to have you in the Golden Hive. We
Yeah.
are having so much fun there, gathering weekly. So if you want to learn more and join us, please do. We will share some information on how you can get a hold of Maddie. But Maddie, would you like to share real quick too, out loud, how they can reach you and
Yeah.
co-create with you in more magical ways?
Yes. So the best ways to find me would be on Instagram. So MaddieBee.energy, and that's BEE, like our little buzzing friends,
Right.
or my website, which is also MaddieBee.energy. The big things right now is I offer remote sessions, so we can tune in from anywhere in the world and help you get an energetic tune-up to whatever you need right now. And I also am teaching holographic sound healing. So if you're interested, if this lit something up in you, my teacher, Dr. Paul, and a couple of other teachers were putting these on around the world. And I think one of the coolest things is that it is a calling. And so when you feel the call, when you feel the resonance, I really invite you to follow it because I have seen amazing things happen in these trainings. And a big part of it is that it is an opportunity to connect with soul family. So that's been my experience in every single one of these trainings and getting to witness people really coming together and having profound experiences with each other and just unlocking the next level of gifts and tuning into this awesome reality that goes beyond what we've imagined so far. So, yeah, if you're interested, I'd love for you to catch up with me online, send me a message, DM, and yeah, I'd just love to connect.
Yes, let's play together.
Yes, it's
And she
time.
puts on beautiful events too.
Yeah,
Hopefully I'll get to come to one at some point.
yeah,
And yeah, so I would love to again just offer you gratitude and invite you back to have more combos
yeah,
because I just love this. So we will end this by sharing, may you find your rhythm, your resonance, and your place within the world, within the hive, within the all. One hive, one hum. And then we buzz. We buzz away like the little bees we are, and we love you so much. Thank